You are listening to the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. Here are your hosts, Colin Daly and Benjamin Goldstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein, and the Phillies are back to rocking and rolling, at least for the time being. They've now won 3 series in a row, 2 since we've had our last podcast, and seems like the offense is finally getting back on track. Some of those big names in the Phillies lineup seem to be swinging the bats a lot better than we saw earlier in the season. Ben and I are going to break all of that down in a little bit. However, we also see some guys we're expecting to do very well, still trying to figure things out here in the beginning of May, about almost a month and a half into the 2025 season. So what are your thoughts on the Phillies lineups? How are they jiving right now, Ben?
Well, I will say to start, I did predict this homestand, a 4-2 homestand, so shout out to me for getting that right. But
That's true. I said
offense,
5-1, right?
yeah, you said 5-1, so you were close. Almost came back on Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon. They were close, but anyway, yeah. I mean, the offense has been great. Schwarber's killing the ball. Max Kepler's woken up. Trey Turner has been amazing, and you're getting production from some other guys. Johan Rojas is hitting the ball pretty well right now, who should be in the lineup every day, but that's a whole different conversation. You're getting Weston Wilson's hitting the ball. He got recalled off the IL. He's
Mammoth
hitting
home
the
run
ball
today.
well. Yeah, and got a bunch of guys hitting Alec Boehm's hitting the ball well. So everybody, almost all 9 guys are in that lineup are hitting the ball well right now. And that's the one thing with the Phillies. It's like when one guy's hot, everyone's hot. And when one guy's cold, it seems like the whole lineup is cold. But right now it's hot and it's fun.
It is fun. So we saw Phillies did lose game 3 against the Diamondbacks today, and actually honestly turned out to be a decent game. We saw the Phillies were down 7-2. Weston Wilson hit a big 3-run home run. Alec Boehm in the 9th inning ties the game up at 8 with a single, but they were not able to fight back in extra innings. We saw Jose Alvarado got into a little bit of a jam in his 2nd inning of work, and then the Phillies go to Carlos Hernandez, who didn't really have didn't really have great command. He had about average command today, I would say, for for him. So the Phillies kind of dug themselves a hole they couldn't get out of in extra innings. But I don't think you can complain about this homestand for the Phils. I mean, they came in, they faced a decent team in the Diamondbacks, and they got the job. I mean, a decent team. They're about where the Phillies are, 500 roughly. They're kind of middle of the pack in the National League West. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good to see some of the bats getting hot. You mentioned Rojas before. He could be a very big part of this lineup. Um, and then we've seen guys like Trey Turner start to heat up. He had that big 4-for-4 game a couple days ago. He only had 1 hit today, but his at-bats have been looking a lot cleaner. He seems to be getting to the ball a lot quicker. We've seen him in the past struggle with those high fastballs sometimes. It seems like he's kind of adjusting to that now. So I saw a lot of positive things in this series, Ben.
Yeah, breaking down Trey a little bit further, we'll go into some more players. But in Trey Turner's last 15 games, he's hitting .371. He has 23 hits and 62 at-bats. He's scored 11 times, 7 RBIs. He's walked 6, 2 stolen bases as well. On-base percentage, .435. Slugging is pretty good as well. His last 7, he's hitting .467. His on-base percentage is .500. He's getting walks. He's getting on base. And this might just be the best Trey Turner has looked wearing a Phillies uniform since he signed that contract. Of course, the beginning of 2024. Beginning of 2024, before he had that injury, he was looking great. But this last 2 weeks or so, where he's hitting .371, he has been awesome at that 2-hole, getting on base, getting a ton of base hits, driving runners in. So he's scoring a ton of runs as well, and it's exactly what they need him to do. His defense, he's made a few rough plays, but overall not too bad during this homestand, which is always encouraging when he's not making bonehead plays, because he does that sometimes.
He does.
Yeah, Trey Turner has been what the Phillies have been looking for out of him over the last 3 years so far. over the past 2 or 3 weeks.
And looking through his stat line, you know what I like the most right now. In his last 32 plate appearances, he has only struck out 4 times. We talked about this with Johan Rojas probably last season. Turner's kind of the same way, right? He's got the speed where if he can get on base or if he put the ball in play, he can do a lot of damage, right? Because he's the kind of guy who can really easily turn a single into a triple because he can steal 2 bases. So you got other guys in the lineup like the Schwarbers, and now he's getting older like the JT Realmutos who they're not going to be able to do that. But having a guy like him in the lineup hitting consistently is really going to pay off. So just the fact that he's putting the ball in play, making hard contact, is just a fantastic sign.
Yeah, it sure
Let's
is, and it's always good when you got Trey Turner going. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Max Kepler a little bit because we talked just how I think this was a couple podcasts ago, how the Phillies lineup was just so inconsistent and it felt like they were producing in chunks. Like, I remember for a little bit there, it was like the top 3 guys were hitting really well, and then for a little bit, it was like the middle of the lineup was hitting well. But now it seems like they've got Turner at the top, Schwarber at the top, all hitting well. They've got Kepler, Rojas hitting well at the bottom. Marsh is coming back. Well, not coming back. He is back. He should bolster the bottom of the lineup a little bit. So, how much do you think the production that Kepler's had is going to really help this team?
Well, he's hitting for power. He has 4 homers in his last 15 games, 3 over his last 7. He's hitting 300 over his last 15. This is Kepler has done it before. He's a 30 homer guy. He's done it before.
Yeah.
There's no reason he can't do it again. And he's showing why, because he's finally getting that pop. It took him a little bit for him to get that pop. He was getting a little. So he was having some hard hit balls, but really nothing that was turning into base hits or driving runners home. He has 5 RBIs in his last 7 games. He is coming alive. He had how many home runs this homestand in this last series? He had 2 homers. He had the game winner on Friday, and then he had another big one on Saturday to jump out and get that initial lead. So, Kepler has been what the Phillies have needed in that middle of the order for the last year, a power guy that can hit for average and hit for power. They're getting that with Kepler over the last couple of weeks, and it's really bolstering that middle of the lineup and shaping how good this lineup can be if they have Kepler going.
Yeah, and you mentioned that he's got the 5 RBI in his last 7 games. 4 of those came against the Diamondbacks this weekend. Were you surprised to see him sitting today?
No, because we know how Rob Thompson likes his righty-lefty matchup. However, at some point you gotta ride the hot hand, and I would have really have liked to see Kepler in that lineup today. I also would have liked to see Johan Rojas in the lineup on Saturday. He made that great catch on Friday night. Had a couple hits, throw him back out there. Topper doesn't do it. So it's time. We're in the middle of May. It's not going to hurt seeing some lefties get some at-bats against left-handers. Kepler had the game-winning home run on Friday against the left-handed pitcher. So he can obviously hit lefties. He just did it this weekend. So I'm not surprised he wasn't in the lineup, but I would have liked to see him in that.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page right now because we talk about lineups all the time, right? But one thing I've always said is like guys get comfortable hitting in the spot that they're in, and I don't think that these guys are going to be as successful if they're not getting consistent time in the same spot in the lineup day in and day out. And I realize that Phillies have some good guys in the bench who should be getting some opportunities, but there's ways to get them at bats and get them swings without just letting someone sit for an entire game, which other than his one at bat today is what Max Kepler did. So I would like, especially with like you said, he's the hot hand right now. So until he cools off, I think you got to ride with him.
Yeah, why not go with the hot hand? We'll see what they do. I would like to see some changes. They tried Stott and Marsh against the lefties for a game or two. It didn't go well, but they've never had Kepler go against the lefty yet. And his splits are not good. But why not? He hit the homer on Friday against the lefty. Why not? And I mean, when you got a slugging percentage of 714 in your last 7 games for Kepler, you know
Yeah,
you gotta make use of that. So
you make a point for sure. All right, let's round out. We got the three hot hands right now. Let's talk about Kyle Schwarber. I mean, really all season, he has been, I feel like, the constant in this lineup. I mean, and he is. I was actually looking yesterday. I feel like he's flown so much under the radar this season. I haven't heard, like, I feel like you usually hear a good amount about Kyle Schwarber just around the league, and I feel like we haven't had that this year. I mean, he's second in the league in home runs.
it might be
Last
because
time I
he's not.
looked.
It's probably because he's not leading off anymore, and he's not leading off games to make it 1-0.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
which personally, he has hit. He had a 3-run homer in the series. He had a 2-runner. He had 2 other solo home runs in the series. He had 3 home runs in this series. One of them a 3-run homer, and or in this homestand. 4 home runs in his last 7 games. 8 RBIs. 750 slug. He's doing what a cleanup hitter does, and that's to hit home runs. I mean, Ryan Howard would do the same thing in the 4 hole back in the day, and he would have guys on base for him, and he'd hit bombs, and that's what Schwarber's doing with guys on base. He's hitting home runs, and that's exactly what he is supposed to do because he's Kyle Schwarber.
yeah,
No
and
other
like
reason.
it does not take a deep dive into stats and metrics to show you that the Phillies have with their lineup construction right now, especially in the top of the order, is working. He is on pace right now for like 130 RBI, which you're not going to get in the leadoff spot,
Yeah, he's got
especially when you've
26.
got guys, right? Especially when you've got guys at the bottom of the order that just aren't producing. So, I mean, it is incredible how much more productive he's been at in the 4 hole because I mean, yeah, it's cool when we start the game 1-0 in the first inning. I'd rather it be 3-0 in the second inning because we've
Or in the
seen this
first inning.
team, and especially with the way this bullpen has been this year, the solo home run is not going to take us to the seventh, the eighth inning. Be the only way we keep our lead.
Yeah, and you got Stott getting on base all the time. You got Trey Turner getting on base all the time. Bryce Harper a little bit iffy. We'll get to that in a second. Um, but Schwarber's been ripping the baseball off, and it's what he's supposed to do. And this is who Kyle Schwarber is. He just has 26 RBIs because now he has guys on base for him. Imagine what he'd be doing leading off, and he's got Brandon Marsh and Alec Boehm in front of him in the middle of April when they were both hitting sub 200. I mean, Marsh is sub 100, or was going into Saturday's game sub 100. He's got 20. He has 11 home runs and 26 RBIs. He's hitting at 242. His OPS is 955. He's being Kyle Schwarber. He's gonna earn that big contract at the end of this year, and he is showing the Phillies why they should give it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and people have been saying that he might be slowing down. He's showing no signs of that.
Oh,
He's been
oh,
persistent,
yeah.
and honestly, he's probably only gotten better through his 4 years here because we saw the very beginning, and there's a year he can get under 200, and now he's not even in that. I mean, knock on wood, he's not even in that ballpark right now because he's just swings gotten shorter. He lets his natural power take over, and he's hitting the ball to all fields, and it's huge for him.
And
So
also, he played some left field Sunday, and he made a nice play.
yeah,
Held the runner at first base, played the bounce perfectly off the wall. So after he left his left field, he has hit. He's a, I mean, he's a middle 200 hitter, which is great. Last year, what was he hitting? Last year, he had 248 last year.
hmm
2020, I mean, 2023 was when he hit 197. But I mean, 248 last season. So far, 242. He's never hit for a high average. He's a power hitter. Everybody knows who he is and what he does. But now we heard it last year. He's doing it again. He's getting base hits. He's getting at first base. He has 2 stolen bases this year. Don't mind a little Schwarber speed, but Kyle Schwarber's the man, and I do not know what will happen if the Phillies do not resign him this year. It will be a huge problem.
Yeah, you know what? I really do think, especially this year, everyone always says the lineup is built around Bryce Harper. But when you have a team with as much star power as the Phillies, it's not built around just one person. It's built around Harper and it's built around Schwarber. And I mean, that is impressive because you've got guys in there, Castellanos, Turner, Bohm. I mean, these guys are all-star starters, and Schwarber and Harper are the ones who really dictate this lineup. So that just goes to show how impressive he's been in his 4 years here. I think he's got to. I think he has to get re-signed.
Yeah, it has to. Someone else that's up for contract this year that's hitting pretty well right now. How about JT Realmuto hitting 286 over his last 7? Had
Yeah,
had the homer on Saturday. His 2 homers. Had 2 homers on this homestand. A little bit of power, a little bit of pop off JT's bat as of recent.
he's always a fun hitter to watch because you can tell when he's on. When he is off, his swing gets so out of whack, and I mean, you can just see how visually just how I hate to say ridiculous, but just how off kilter
It
he
is pretty.
looks.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
But and he's got that big leg kick, which I suppose is part of it. But when he's got his timing down, I mean, he is so much fun to watch because he's short to the baseball. He's got a quick swing. He's level to the baseball. So when he's hitting like this, I think he is the most fun to watch of any guy in this lineup because he makes hard contact too, and it's because of that nice short level swing. John Kruk actually talks about it all the time. We were talking about Kruk before the podcast. He had his one batter of fame this weekend.
It's one pitch.
And you got a whole batter in there.
It was just because they gave him at the end of the inning, and it was like the one pitch. It was strike 3, and that was it for him.
No,
I
he
think.
did the whole. I just
Oh,
watched it
didn't
before
at
the
bat.
podcast. Oh yeah, they brought up Tom the quesadilla,
Yeah,
and
I didn't watch. I was at the game that night when it happened, so I didn't.
uh, no, he got it was a strikeout, but he got the whole. He called the foul ball. He called wonderfully. Um, a lot of good strikes. He was excellent. He even
I'll,
gave a little like a game overview in between pitches.
I'll have to take some notes. A bad thing about JT though, he's 1 for 28 against left-handers this year. So I think you gotta do a little bit of some. I mean, Marchand, like he's a switch hitter. He's not hitting very well, but you can't have a dude that's 1 for 28 against lefties in your lineup.
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
which is like, and this has kind of come out of nowhere because it hasn't been very apparent with Real Muto in the past. So yeah, I mean, I haven't noticed anything um when he's faced these lefties, but I don't know. At the same time, like Marchand, he's not doing anything either. I mean, he's what 2 for 20. So I don't think is if put like, do you want to put him in the lineup and just let Real Muto avoid lefties, or give him the reps against them now, so he can hopefully figure out whatever issue he's having in May. So when they're facing like a good lefty in October or November, you're not relying on Rafael Marchand behind the dish
Yeah,
in
Marchand is
red
2 for
October.
20 this 2 for 20 in total this season, Marchand. League
Mm.
100. So not great.
And I will say I haven't checked on him in a while, but I heard
Yeah,
that this
2 for 20.
stubber isn't
Stubbs is
doing
hit.
too poorly.
I think it was 280 something. I saw this number the other day. He's
Oh,
hitting. I mean, he's hitting very respectfully in Lehigh Valley, but you'd have to cut Marchand, and there could be a move with the Phillies and their catcher sometime in the
294.
future. What is it?
294.
Yeah. It's not. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Moving catcher. It's not going to be in the month of May. It could be in the
I
month of June.
agree.
Could be in June. It happens.
Yeah, I don't. You have to give. I mean, 20 at bats isn't a big enough sample size. He needs to get an opportunity to really prove himself because he's never had this kind of role in the major leagues before. I mean, he is. I've always talked about Marshawn as a guy that I've liked in the minors. I think he's a really scrappy player, with huge potential, but he's never really gotten a chance to be a permanent starter in the major leagues. And it's not even I mean, there's been times where he's had some injury issues over the past few years. Um, the Phillies have been lucky with Real Muto and Stubbs staying very healthy for Stubbs the last 2 seasons, for Real Muto the last 4 or 5. So yeah, I mean, it's not. I hate to say it's not. It is. It's not Marshawn's fault, but he definitely didn't have himself available when there were the situations because of those injuries that popped up. But I'm glad he's getting a chance now because he is. I mean, and his defense is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, some of his throws are just
it's just a
incredible.
shame that he can't. It's just a shame that like he can't hit water if he fell out of a boat right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is. He
Because
is
if he could
ice
hit,
cold to
he
play.
would be. There would be some conversations.
Yeah, and
He's not
he
hitting.
hit
So
last year too when he was up. Wasn't for long, but he was what did he hit last year?
in
294
yeah, in
in
51 at bats.
51 at bats. He had 15 hits. What are the odds?
He's a better major league hitter than a minor league hitter.
Yeah, he is. Well, I don't. I'm told the story 1,000 times, but he never hit a home run in minor leagues, and he hit one on his first at bats in the major leagues against the Blue Jays,
2020.
2020, because they didn't have the cardboard cutout for him. They drew like a smiley face and wrote like Marshawn on it, number 13.
Yeah, it was kind of disrespectful.
Well,
Kind of not cool.
better than
But
nothing, right?
you gotta do what you gotta do for the guy. They weren't ready.
Yeah, they weren't ready. I think it just means I think it's the opposite of disrespectful. He did so well, they weren't even ready for his
Well,
offensive outburst.
they should have printed one when he got called up. Had it ready to go.
I guess. I don't know what it goes into the making of those signs. I've
I
never
never,
dabbled
yeah,
in that.
no, I've never been in that field before in that situation.
Maybe we should open a business, Ben. Do people
Philly
still need those
sports
signs?
cardboard cutout? No, no.
I mean, we could just make them for fun and like scare people with them. I don't know.
Speaking of scary, Bryce Harper has been terrible.
Yeah,
He has been really this season. He's only hitting 234. His last 15 games, he's hitting 203. He's been bad. There has to be like he was hitting well, and now he isn't again. Like he got off to kind of a poor start, and then like I think he said, "Give me 20 at bats." He got to that 20 at bats, and he was murdering the baseball. Had like 5 home runs in like 2 weeks. Now he's fallen. He's fallen way back to earth. Last 2 weeks, he's in 2 or 3. What do you see? He changed like where his hands were a little bit. I can pull up that picture from our very own Sean, who pointed that out in his recap. But what have you seen from Bright? Like he looks hurt. Like there's something is off. But he did have the home run on Sunday.
yeah, he did, and I agree with what you said about he is actually similar to JT. I feel like when he has his rough patches, it looks like there's visually something very apparent that's not working for him. Um, right now, I think it might be more of like a reps thing and not seeing. And I don't know why this would be, but it almost like he looks like I've seen some of these guys in spring training before, where they're not used to getting consistent at bats. They're not comfortable at the plate yet. But I don't know why that would be the case. And we're here in the first week of May. Um, but now the hands are interesting. I haven't seen this. Can
Yeah, his
we?
hands are lower here. So for those who are
Okay.
listening on podcast apps, Harper's hands were more towards his back ear with his bat kind of on his shoulder. Now he's more upright. The hands are out in front a little bit more. Out kind of I don't know how to describe that. More more in front of his face than behind his face, and the bat is straight up rather than off to on his shoulder. So this was pointed out from our very own Sean Regini. I can't say his last name, Regini, but
So a lot of times guys will make that change if they feel like their timing's off. Because the hands are what dictate your when you get your front foot down. Kind of like the start of that entire mechanism there. So he's probably using the position of his hands to work on getting a consistent timing up with the pitcher, which does kind of make sense to what I was saying about him just not feeling entirely comfortable with it. Could be the pitchers he's facing, the pitches he's seeing. Because you'll see the opposite some of the guys where if their timing's off where they're behind, they'll start their hands back a little bit more. That way, when they do their load, they're really more focused on the lower half of their body than their entire body, and it's more of a forward movement, which moving only having to think about moving your hands toward the ball is a lot more intuitive. So you'll see guys make that adjustment sometimes, and they're struggling often against the fastball. So maybe this is. And I haven't seen if this is like him something he's doing every pitch. Um, I'd be curious to see if how consistent he is with
I
this
mean this
setup.
is
So that
with
might be something to watch
this is
in the
with one
next week or two.
strike. So this is an 0-1
Yeah.
count where this picture was taken. So I mean, he was doing it in the first inning in this game. This is in the fourth, so his second at bat. So
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely something to watch over the next week or two.
see if he was
See
doing
if
it in his
he heats
home run.
up a little bit and he keeps his hands there.
See what
Because
his
it definitely has. If I had to guess, it has something to do with either his timing or his path of the ball. Because you'll also see sometimes with the hands back really far, it leaves you to drop your back shoulder down and everything you get under the ball. So could be that as well. But
here
I think
was
it has more to do with his timing.
here was the homer. So yeah, his hand he starts in that position where he was back with his shoulder on his bat on the shoulder, hands back, and then loads up, and it's a normal Bryce Harper swing.
But yeah, so see if you pause it, that's what's different. If right there, yeah.
Yeah,
Pitcher
so was there.
hasn't released the ball yet. He's already back to where he starts.
Yeah,
Normally, he's a back and forwards kind of guy. Now he's a back, pause, and forwards. So he's doing that to really to negate the issues he's having with his timing.
yeah. So
Because
right.
his swing is usually like one smooth motion.
So you see, pitcher winds up. For those who aren't watching this, winds up, and then when he's in his wind up, when he has that his leg has come up, that's when Harper's hands go forward, and Harper's loaded. His bat is up, so he's more, I guess, ready for the pitch, and then it's
Right, and you'll
thrown and he hits the
see
homer on the fastball.
until that ball gets to him, his hands stay there. And actually, can you play that one more time? Yeah, you see that he did the double leg tap too in the front. So yeah, it for sure has something to do with his timing. Um, yeah,
1-2.
yeah. That's really interesting. I didn't notice this.
Here it is again. 1-2. Hands stay
Yeah.
back.
Right, yeah. Between the hand still and the double leg lift, absolutely a timing thing.
And then I want to see his pass swing as well. I just pressed on something. Because I mean, he started doing it and he hit the homer. So definitely, I guess there's something there. Let's see. That's from today. Where is a past homer? It's all the homer from today, of course. Anyway, Colin, 100 men and one gorilla. Why find that?
I'm taking the gorilla.
Really?
Hmm.
I'm taking one Colin Daly any day of the week.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All
I
right.
think
So
you'd be attending a funeral.
this is from mid-April. A homer
Okay.
against the Marlins in the City Connect uniforms. So here, it's kind of a later shot, but yeah, it's the one he doesn't pause as
Yeah,
much.
this is a tougher one to see it in because of the where the pitch is located. But
That was a bomb,
de-
though.
yeah, it definitely does look like it's a lot more of a single motion.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
but you can see he does have the double leg tap, but if you watch his hands, they go back and then they come through right away,
Rather than
which is
pausing,
vastly different from what we saw in the swing today.
like because here he would be pausing, but he's continuous in his.
Yep,
So
exactly.
there's some.
Hmm.
You're getting more from us than you are from Ben Davis on that. So
Yeah, seriously. Well, Ben, let's we talked about the offense a lot. Let's talk about the starting pitcher situation. So Ranger Suarez went on the injured list during spring training. Taijuan Walker, who we thought was initially going to be in the long reliever role to begin the regular season, gets moved to the starting rotation, and well, he did a lot better than we expected. Um, he made 6 starts at a 2.54 ERA, 1-3 record. But he was pretty decent in the 6 starts that he made. Now, we did see he struggled a little bit in his recent ones. Um, he went in his last 3 games. He did have a good start against the Nationals, 5 2/3 innings, 1 run. He did walk 3. But he had a 3 inning start against the Cubs and a 4 inning start against the Miami Marlins. Ranger Suarez comes back from the injured list. Taiwan gets the boot, and he struggles today, and he struggled bad. So you're the GM. What are we doing with the Ranger? What are we doing with Taiweezy? What's happening?
Taiweezy.
Taiweezy.
Well, you give Ranger another start. Absolutely. First start back.
Agreed.
Weather was horrible. It was like drizzly, rainy throughout the afternoon. So you got first 2 innings for Ranger looked good. Then he got in that third inning and things kind of fell apart. Arizona was able to hit him, didn't have the stuff. Um, but you give Ranger another start, and then you assess if this happens again. You definitely got to think about uh, a possible Ranger bullpen because we've seen Ranger in the bullpen before, especially if his first 2 innings are good again, and then he kind of falls off the rails a little bit again. You could see Ranger in a bullpen role again, where he's going out though in an inning or two. And you have Taijuan Walker giving you some good stuff in the starting rotation. Or you could do the piggyback Taiwan Ranger for a little bit. You could always think about that. Um, but it was a weird start for Ranger. It's his first game back, so it's hard to fully take away everything from it because it was literally one start. But Taijuan Walker he was great. Like he blew everybody away. And his most recent start, the 5 2/3 against Washington, he was really good against a solid Nationals lineup. So you give Ranger another start, and then you assess from there.
Agreed. I would even say more than a start. I mean, Ranger Suarez has been a staple in this rotation for years. We've seen him be one of the best pitchers in baseball. You can't just get him out of the rotation if he has 2 bad starts. So I would give him. I mean, if Walker got 6 starts, I'd say he also gets somewhere between 5, 6, 7, 8 starts, really just to re-solidify his role in the rotation. And it's going to take him some time to get back to where he was before because he didn't have a proper spring training. Pitching in Lehigh Valley is nothing like pitching in the major leagues. So Actually, his rehab, was it even at Lehigh Valley? I can't remember.
He was there for a little.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Because I remember his initial
Yeah.
reinstatement was from Lehigh. But still, I mean, you're not gonna, I don't think you can expect a guy to come back, not having a spring training, not starting the regular season, and jump right back into action against a semi decent lineup and blow him away. So honestly, the fact that he gave us two solid innings, I think is a good start. And I think he'll go out there and do well as the next start. Give us at least three, four, five good innings. Um, and we've also seen in the past that he does get tired. So it's possible that he might just need a couple starts to build up that stamina and get used to pitching, 100 pitches again, which he did not do during his rehab. So
Something you
that's
also have
also
to think
worth
about.
noting.
Something you have to think about is this. This is probably the last year for Ranger in Philadelphia. His contract is up, and he is a big ticket at the trade deadline for the Phillies, especially
Mhm.
with Andrew Painter, who is waiting in the wings. He will be starting in Lehigh Valley on Thursday. So make sure if you have MLB TV, definitely boot up your MILB TV so you can watch that one. That's going to be a pretty big night for the Iron Pigs and for Andrew Painter and the Phillies. But you got to think about if Ranger continues to struggle like this. I know it's only one start, but his value will go down, and his value Ranger Suarez. You look at what he did last year in the first half. He has the potential to be an ace on a lot of teams. And
Yeah.
if you that's a and even in the bullpen, it's a value. He's a valuable player in the August deadline, whenever in mid-August, late August deadline. And if he's able to if this continues, you're gonna have a problem. And Phillies can't afford that because they need help in multiple places right now. We don't know what this team's going to look like in July and August when they will be making those deals. But it's something you definitely need. It's something to keep an eye on with Ranger, with how he could be moved later this year.
Right. And we're talking about value. Phillies need him in the rotation because the second he moves the bullpen, his value drops like
Yeah.
a lot. It doesn't matter how great he is. I mean, he could be the best relief pitcher in baseball. He's still worth more as a starter because teams will pay for his past. Talk about that. Phillies do it all the time. Sometimes it pays off, right? With Kepler, he was terrible last year, but it paid off. They did it with Jesus Luzardo. It paid off. You know who else they did it with? Craig Kimbrell, Jordan Romano, Keith Hembry, Brandon Workman, David Phelps.
Can't believe you're saying
I
these
mean,
names right now.
the list goes on. They do it all the time. Doesn't matter how they're doing in the moment, it matters how they've done in the past. Kyle Gibson. Oh, they kept him around forever because he had one good season. So teams will see what he's done in the last few years, and even if Rangers struggling a little bit, they will pay for the starter that he once was. But the second that he's in the bullpen and he's not, at the starting pitcher capacity where he's able to throw 100 pitches, his value is gonna plummet. So the Phillies need him not only to win, but to have some value for the deadline. If they feel like they have to make a move for a bat, they've got the pitching depth to do that. He might be their guy.
Yeah, bat or bullpen piece as well, because
Well,
that's
yeah,
where the
unless you want him to be the bullpen piece, which is
yeah.
another like huge decision you have to weigh. Is that internal option better? And we've seen Taijuan Walker is not good in his first inning of work, right? So do you get more value? Like, even if Ranger Suarez ends up being a slightly better starting pitcher than Taijuan Walker would be in the rotation, do you put Walker in the rotation and Suarez in the bullpen? Are you getting overall team value? Is that better? And I'm really not gonna know that until the
Until
deadline.
if it happens, which I honestly doubt that measure will be taken
No, I don't think
with
so.
how the Phillies run things. I highly doubt that measure will need to be taken,
Mm-mm.
at least in this state. Unless
No.
if we get to October and then they need to move some things around, I could see Ranger going to the bullpen. But
Yeah,
we're in May, so I'm not even
we
thinking
are.
about
Got to take a
not even
step back
thinking about it yet.
sometimes.
Not even thinking about it yet.
Of course. All right, Ben. I think it's time to preview.
Yeah, before we get to this preview,
Oh,
Colin, how we got like a big homestand just wrapped up. Went pretty well. Go out on the road, going to playing in couple. They're playing in back to back. Or no, not yet. They're playing in one minor league stadium. They play in the other minor league stadium in a few weeks. But they play in a minor league stadium this week, and then they go to Cleveland. Then they come home. And how are you going to get to these games, Colin?
Oh, I might have to go on to SeatGeek.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's an
really
idea.
that's a really intelligent answer from a really intelligent man, Colin Daly. You should always listen to him.
Oh boy.
If it's on the Bell Ringers podcast or if it's in an AP class, because God bless
Oh
everyone.
no.
It's AP's exam week, Colin.
Yeah, next week.
So
I'll be ready. I hope.
you don't got a choice. You better be ready. But yeah, go to SeatGeek. That link in the description. Download the SeatGeek app at checkout. Use code Philly Sports Report. Save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Philly Sports Report. $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. No S at the end because what are we doing with it?
Holding the S, Ben. Hit it like the home runs the Phillies have been hitting. 400 feet away. They don't want it.
There you go. You got to listen to him. Thank you to SeatGeek.
What's gonna happen? Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted the advertisement. I apologize,
we're good.
SeatGeek.
Thank you, SeatGeek.
Well, I was gonna add on to the advertisement. What's gonna happen when I run out of hold the S jokes? Like I feel like I need to make a list.
Well, we're on
Let me
episode
start rattling
79, and I
off.
feel like we've done the hold the S for at least the last 40.
Yeah.
So I think
If
we're
I've come
out
up with
already.
40, I may as well come up with 50, right? I mean,
Yeah, we got to keep pushing it, and then maybe
yeah.
we'll go. It's a thing now. It's like the
Maybe
Ricky
I'm gonna
Pitalico
start
wide
making
row.
them so ridiculous. Not even gonna make sense.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
hold
I
on.
said it.
No, we should do what's that thing on social? I'm so hungry I could eat the S. Have you seen that? Where it's like I'm so
It might
hungry
be
I
the
could eat
stupidest.
like
Like it's. I'm so hungry I could eat Cody Ashley.
yeah, I'm so hungry I could eat Yaxel Rios and
Peter.
Tyler Goodell and
I'm so hungry I could eat Colin Daly's favorite player, Peter
Peter
Borges.
Borges.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry I could eat Pedro Florimon.
All right,
Who like
enough.
do you remember? Oh my gosh, he was like that infielder,
Yeah, he
and he
was
had
bad.
the injury. No, he was okay until
No.
he like broke his ankle so bad you could see his bone sticking out of the skin on that one game. It was I remember I was watching it from my aunt and uncle's shore house. It was disgusting.
Anyway,
I don't know where that came from.
what's coming up?
Oh, we got games, Ben. We got games.
You got games.
I don't know when our next podcast is. Schedule's
Our next
wandering over my
podcast
head.
will be we got the off day on Monday the 5th, which is when this podcast is being uploaded to. You're listening to this on the off day. 3 games
Ah,
at
right.
George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida, against the Rays, not the Yankees, the Rays.
Our next
And then
podcast is the 15th, isn't it?
yeah, our next, and then
I remembered.
we got 3 games against the Cleveland Guardians, including some Sunday night baseball on Mother's Day. And then it's 3 games against Colin's Cardinals
Yeah.
when we return home against the Cardinals. And then we will be back on the 15th. So we got 3 against Tampa, 3 against Cleveland, and return home for 3 against the Cardinals. Phillies are playing well right now. The only interesting series I think we could have is the Cleveland series coming up next weekend.
Yeah, so
like these are all winnable games. Cleveland could be tough, especially with Sunday night baseball. Those usually don't go well.
yeah, I'm thinking 5-4.
Okay.
They win the series against the Rays and the Cardinals. They lose the series against the Guardians.
Yeah, I'm also looking at 5-4 as well.
Same situation.
I like the 2-1. Yeah, I mean they win the Rays, win the Cardinals, and lose the Guardians because they're not
Well,
going
this
to
is
win all these series in
boring.
a row. It's not going to happen.
You know what? I'll change mine. 6-3.
Okay.
They
They're
win all
winning
3 series.
Yeah, the Phillies have not had they haven't pulled out a sweep. Like every time they win the first two
That's
games,
okay.
they lose that last
You
one.
can be the best team in baseball if you win 2 out of every 3. So we're gonna keep rolling with it. That
You
would
know
be
what?
like such a fun team.
The Phillies are gonna sweep the Cardinals.
Don't say that. I need a little bit of joy.
No, they're sweeping the Cardinals.
I was really hoping that I'm not gonna make it to one of the games this year, and I'm really upset in a Phillies Cardinals game. And the 14th would have been perfect. My last AP exam ends at 11:30 on the 14th. I could be at Citizens Bank Park by 12:30. First pitch by 1 o'clock. Doesn't that sound amazing? Because we get out of
Why
school once our exam finishes.
why aren't you going?
I have the last school baseball game of the season
Oh,
is on the 14th. And it's against a private school that kills us every single year.
oh, so that's hard.
I should just not go. Right. So it's not even like we're going to do anything good. We're just going to lose.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too because I have a half day of school that day, and I also end at 11:30.
Really?
Yeah, maybe we'll have a little bell ringers game. But
Could have.
But
Instead, we're going to go get like embarrassed by Avon Grove.
oh yeah,
Not sure if you've ever heard of them.
yeah. All right, so I'm going 6-3.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. There's
All right.
taking 2 or 3 against Tampa. They'll lose the series against Cleveland, then they'll sweep the Cardinals. So there you go.
All right. So same record, but different ways of getting there. So we got a little something to talk about next episode. I like it.
Level of debate.
Of course, always.
All right, so catch Colin and I at the game on the 14th. We'll get
Maybe it'll rain in Horsham, but not in Philadelphia. That would be good.
That would be. It is Citizens Weather Education Day on the 14th as well.
So I feel like it's like we're obligated for a little bit of precipitation.
Hopefully, I do have tickets on the 16th and 17th though, so I don't know if I'm going on the 14th.
Oh, you got a Wheeler bobblehead?
Yeah.
There you go. Do I have? Oh, I don't have a Wheeler. It's a shame.
Anyway, thank you all for watching and listening. Thank you to SeatGeek, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week. Go Phils!
Go Phillies!
This has been the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Philly Sports Reports wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow the podcast on X and PSR on all social media. Also, consider leaving a review. Catch Colin and Benjamin's writing on phillysportsreports.com, along with following both on X. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show.